welcome to Working On It. I'm Dr. A and I'm a clinical psychologist aiming to make your life just a bit more manageable. Remember, the tools and the tidbits that you pick up on this channel are purely educational. They can't replace therapy, but with some practice they can help you along in your daily life. So let's get started. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit differently, which is taking a big moment that happened in pop culture and thinking about what we might be able to learn from it. We have celebrities that we follow and we watch, and it's a big part of American culture to follow, celebrity life and sort of be voyeurs. And that's not a bad thing. There's a lot of actually positive things that you can learn from them. There's a lot of people who do good work and philanthropy and donate and all these kind things that we can learn from and show compassion. And then there are blunders and mistakes and errors that people make that we can learn from as well. So today we're going to be taking a look at the second category and talking about the slap that happened at the Oscars. Everybody's talking about it, so why don't we do the same and think about what we can learn from it? Well, let's talk about the actual incident just for a moment before we actually get into what we can take from it. The actual incident that happened was a little bit confusing, wasn't it? Because at first, Will Smith, in response to what Chris Rock said about his wife, laughed. That was his first instinct. But it became very, very clear that his wife wasn't happy about it, felt offended by it, understandably so, because she has a condition, alopecia, which affects women pretty severely in terms of losing their hair and having to maintain their confidence. Now, what was evident, and this is pure speculation, is that throughout their marriage, and there's, been a lot of public talks that they've had about some of the difficulties in their marriage, especially in the last year, they were a little bit more open. It was pretty evident that maybe behind closed doors, Jada had expressed that she wants Will to be more protective and to defend her honor and to speak up for her when maybe somebody's coming after her or the family. It was pretty clear that maybe they have had talks about this and maybe even fights, and this was Will's chance to prove to her that he could take what they've spoken about and put it to action. Now, what Will did, speculation, but what it looked like Will did in response to what maybe they had talked about or fought about is what we all do when we're trying to learn something new. The first thing when we learn something new isn't go right to the sweet spot and we fully understand and we're doing it exactly how we were asked or exactly how we intended. No. The first thing we usually do is the pendulum swings all the way to the other side and we overcorrect, right? This was a pretty good example of, if this is something they have talked about, which it seems like maybe they have, that this was way of an overcorrection, right? Way over to the other side, a little too much. So let's talk about what we can learn, which is, how do we problem solve when we are angry? And he wasn't angry at first, but I think with the reaction that Jada had, he was like, oh yeah, and then he got angry and upset and all that kind of stuff. So what can we learn? Well, the first thing we want to do to problem solve when we are angry or frustrated is to identify the problem. What is the problem? What is happening? Let's say in this case, the problem was, I need to show my wife that I can show up for her as a husband, that I can defend her honor, that I can protect her. Let's say that was the problem. And what we're going to think is, we're going to think of problems like dragon heads. Dragons, the mythical creatures, right? Like ones we would read about in books when we were little. Sometimes a dragon had one head and that had to be slayed, and sometimes a dragon would have all these different heads and it was harder to kill those dragons, right? So we're going to think of problems as dragon heads. So we identified the problem. I need to defend my wife's honor. That's one dragon head. How could we have made sure we keep it at one dragon head and just slay that dragon and move on? Well, one solution would have been to maybe confront Chris backstage or at the after party and say, hey, listen, that wasn't okay. You need to apologize to my wife, and you did this on a public forum, so you need to apologize publicly. Okay. Probably Chris would have understood. Maybe he would have said, listen, it was just a joke. I didn't know that she was sick, all this kind of stuff. That dragon would have been slayed, done. We would have kept it moving. But that's not always what we do. Sometimes we take a situation where it's one dragon head and we multiply it to all these different dragon heads, and it becomes almost impossible to slay that dragon. That was the case here. So instead of slaying that one problem, Will Smith's response of the slap, right? Not only was now the problem that, he had to defend his wife, and I want to show my wife that I could protect her, but now there's more dragon heads. Are they going to take my Oscar away? Is the cast and crew pissed at me because now this overshadows this moment for the movie that I'm winning the Oscar? Am I going to get asked back? Was that too much and my wife is going to be angry? How am I going to talk about this with my kids? So on and so forth. So you took one dragon head and instead of slaying it, made it into 7, 8, 9 different dragon heads, and now it's impossible to slay that dragon. Now you just have to ride the storm and go through it, which he's doing right now, right? So lesson learned is when we are frustrated, pissed, offended, whatever difficulty comes our way, we have to identify what is the one problem going on right now. What is the heading of the problem? And slay that dragon. Otherwise, if we respond in a way that doesn't immediately slay that dragon, we are going to be having to deal with a dragon that is 8, 9, 10 heads, and we're going to be overwhelmed. We're going to retreat, and we're just going to sort of drown in the situation. So identify the problem and try to attack that specific problem in a way that will kill the issue, that will kill the dragon. Make sure your response is not going to multiply and create more issues and more problems. Okay? I post videos every Tuesday and Friday. Please let me know if you would like to see more videos like this. If something big happens in the world or in pop culture that we can actually take something from, I might do more videos like this, but let me know if that's something that you would like. And if there's a specific topic that you would like for me to talk about, you could let me know in the comments. Practice this problem-solving method. Practice identifying the problem to yourself and how do I kill this problem right now. Give it a shot when something difficult comes your way next. I'm sure there will be many opportunities come along in life to practice. Until next time, practice, 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 and we will be talking next time about what catastrophizing means. It is the second mind trick that we will be learning. We already learned about fortune telling. Go check the thoughts playlist out if you haven't already. This will be a brand new mind trick that is in the category of fortune telling, but I will teach you all about it in the next video. Come along and watch. Come see me next time. And in the meantime, you got this. See you next time.